is that the people who are most likely to experience post-traumatic growth are the people that were the least resilient before the trauma.
Really?
And the reason is, yes, and the reason is because post-traumatic growth requires someone to be rocked at their core, to actually have their whole story of life, their whole kind of identity shattered, because post-traumatic growth is really a redefinition of who you are, what your priorities are, your sense of meaning and purpose in life, your relationships being redefined, maybe your sense of spirituality being refined. So those are some of the qualities that happen. So for people who are just generally resilient, they kind of typically don't drop low enough to experience the height. It's sort of like you need to go low to go high, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
if it doesn't rock you to your core to the point that you really question your core beliefs, the fundamentals of life, the foundational things that you live and breathe by, if it doesn't rock all that, because either you're too resilient or it wasn't traumatic enough, I guess, then it can't foster this post-traumatic growth.
Exactly. So here's another image that may help with that. They talk about the idea of the shattered vase. Vase. I don't know. Everybody says it different. But this idea, so, you know, if you pretend you had this beautiful vase in your house and you loved it and you had it there for a million years and one day you knock it over, something knocks it over. Sometimes it'll break in like 3 big chunks, and it breaks in such a way that you can glue it back together. It's, you know, only a couple chunks and you piece it back together. There's no little tiny shards. It fits all back together nicely. You put it back together. Nobody ever knows it broke. You're good. So that would be resilience. You know, it fell, it broke, you put it back together the way it was. So alternatively, the vase could shatter into thousands and thousands of pieces, to the point where it doesn't matter how long you spend, you're never going to be able to piece it back together to what it was. It's never going to be the vase that it was. So, but you can take all those shards and you can turn it into a mosaic. You can build something new with it, right? So that's post-traumatic growth. So it's kind of this idea that something has to be shattered and almost unrecognizable in order to make something new out of it, which is why the people that are the least resilient are actually the most likely candidates for post-traumatic growth.